Ducks fans, are you ready? You are listening to the Ducks and Pucks podcast. This is the #1 home for Anaheim Ducks talk and analysis. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Mike Walters, along with my co-host, Eddie Richard, and we had a fuck ton of stuff to talk about. I just dropped in the F-bomb early to get it out of the way. But anyways, there's a lot to talk about. Eddie, little MIA with some personal stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. But we've got to talk about Gudas, the suspension, the fallout, our account getting blown up. We've got goalie interference. I know you guys love to talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Olympics, talk about the trade deadline. I don't know. We're going to talk about a lot. It's probably going to be a monster show. A lot of stuff to go through. Eddie's back to get caught up on. Welcome back, Eddie. To let you have the floor. I know there's, been a lot going on. We talked about it before on the other show, but glad to have you back. Anything you want to share with everybody before we dive into all of this?
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize for being MIA and having to delay these shows. It just with personal problems going on and some medical stuff I've been dealing with. And I mean, ultimately, it's coming down. It's looking more and more like it's just stress related. I had a stress test, little treadmill thing at the cardiologist, and it said my heart was fine. So just been dealing with a lot of personal stuff. And Mike, when I text you too, I like the fact that you told me, and I know we preach this a lot on the show, but it's okay not to be okay. And obviously, I wasn't okay, especially with my best friend's funeral. It affected me more than it should have, and I probably shouldn't have resorted to alcohol to kind of mask those feelings, but I did. And I mean, we all live and we all learn. It's part of growing up, and it's part of life and processing things. But yeah, I apologize to all our fans that kind of got kind of cheated on the show. But I'm back and I'm good, better. I'm in a better headspace, and I'm glad to be back and glad to talk some hockey with you. I know a lot has been going on, so I'm glad to be on this show. And yeah, I guess put your seatbelts on because we're gonna do this fucking show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much to go on this. We're not even going to really go too much into the games. We're really just going to focus on the recent road trip. But I did want to talk just briefly about the trade deadline before we dive into what's been happening with the team because the last three games have been
Wait,
filled
wait,
with drama.
Mike,
Yes.
Mike, you forgot one crucial thing.
What?
What are you drinking?
I actually have vodka and a poppy. I don't know if any of you have drinking these poppy sodas. I have a watermelon one. It is very, very good. And it's fantastic. It's just great. So I decided to kind of change it up and go with that this time. You, Eddie?
I had some ultras. I went to the yeah, I actually got off earlier than I thought I was gonna get off, or I didn't really get off. Well, yeah, I did. I'll just leave it at that. So I went with the just down the street with my brother to have a couple ultras. No green beer. I don't drink green beer anymore. It's overrated. And when I partied back when I was younger in Colorado, I remember going to Denver for St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I think it was like St. Patrick's Day was on a Saturday, and the Avs played too. So it's like I spent the night over there for the weekend, and oh my God, I drank so much green beer. And when you drink in excess, you're just like vomiting, and all that green stuff like makes you think of Incredible Hulk. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm over the green beer. I don't need the food coloring dye, whatever. So yeah, I just stuck to my regular beer. But yeah, Mike, did you put any food coloring inside your drinks for St. Patrick's Day?
No, I mean the watermelon poppy does come in a green can, so I mean I guess that counts. I don't know.
Did you wear green today?
You know what's funny? I actually didn't, sadly. I totally forgot. So I got talked
Oh.
to at work by a few different people, and I was like, damn it, I forgot. But I do want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there, especially all of you that celebrate as we do this show. Oh man. But
You know
yeah.
what? I guess too, I want to throw it out there. A couple of Anaheim Ducks players that have ties to Ireland, I guess their surnames are, I guess, kind of part Irish. One of them was Matt Cullen. I know we all remember that old name, and I don't know if Ducks fans remember this name. I'll throw out there, Bobby Ryan. I don't know if you
Hmm.
guys recall him, but yeah, just want to throw out a little fun fact, a little quick, just Google search, just kind of pop that up, just for St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. I know a lot of people celebrate it and go crazy. Be safe. Lots of police presence. Don't get yourself caught up in a dumb situation, or don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to hurt anyone else. So.
All right. Yes. I hope you guys all have a good St. Patrick's Day as we are recording on that day. And we're still sober right now. Okay. So no ducks and drunks right now. Okay. I know some people like to call us that or drunks and pucks. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Um, okay. So just kind of just briefly, not much really happened at the trade deadline. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts. What did you think about the Ducks getting Carlson and then trading Strome away? What did you feel about those two?
I mean, I like Strome. I think Strome was one of those players in the locker room that you need, like Michael Dalzotto was when he was on the Ducks. When he won the cup with the Lightning, he didn't necessarily play at all, but they he had his name engraved in the cup because they petitioned it. Just the way he would bring that locker room presence to show up to every practice to get the boys ready for the games in the locker room in the gym. So he was one of those guys that you can kind of set the tone with, but his production and the depth we have on the Ducks, he didn't really fit I guess the whole mold anymore. It sucks that he had to get dealt for a seventh round pick, but at least it was a pick and not future considerations. I think that's the ultimate slap in the face. I wish him the best. He was he was a nice guy. He was really cool. He was one of the most like talkative guys we were talking to when we were at that golf tournament too, Mike. So he was really cool and down to earth. So I wish him the best, but I think ultimately it was the right move from the Ducks to go ahead and move on from him to give other players an opportunity to step up in his line in his place and see what they can do. And a lot of our players have stepped up and did that. So I like, wish them all the well, but it wasn't too much of a surprise. I'm more surprised that we got rid of all his full salary and then didn't have to kind of add anything in return or had to retain salary. So I guess it was ultimately a good trade, and I hope he tears it up in Calgary.
Yeah, I think that was the part that was the win in there, like you talked about, was the whole thing with the salary and all that stuff, because that 5 mil came off the books for this season and the rest of the next season. And that's the huge part of this because you bring in Carlson and his cap hit is 8 million. And so you're kind of looking at that, and then you're wondering, Verbeek talked about at the Ducks migration event that he wants to bring Carlson back for future seasons and stuff like that. So there's something to think in there. You and I have talked about the cap and all the craziness. You still got the other Carlson, right, to deal with, Gauthier, some RFAs, UFAs, whatever. I mean, there's a lot to mill over with all this, but it gives him more flexibility. But I am sad to see him go, like you said. We talked to him. I won the jersey off the back last year, the first time I won anything on Fan Appreciation Night,
That's
and
right.
I have his jersey, and I remember talking to him, and he was very apologetic about, hey, sorry we didn't make it this year to playoffs. We're really going to strive to do it this year, and I just feel bad because I'm like, oh man, like now he's not on the team, and he was just such a class act. That's the way I would put it with him, Eddie.
Oh yeah, he was down to, and you know what? All the players were pretty much down to earth. Everyone was real friendly, open to talk to us. But I want to say Stromer and Coach Q, they were the most like I guess influential to talk to us. They were asking questions, asking, especially Coach Q was talking about the podcast, asking what we talk about, asking what links, it's just showing a genuine interest in what we do. So that was like one of those things that you're gonna remember. Just like you're a kid meeting your first hockey player, getting your first stick or a jersey or something. It's just one of those moments like that, and it was just cool. Talking to Strom, he was like one of the boys in the locker room. He just treated us like we were just his boys and his pals, fellow drinkers on the golf course. So he'll be missed, but I think he'll have some more success. I know it was kind of a rough ride for him in Anaheim, and the pressure was a little bit more on now, especially the depth we have. He has more responsibility in Calgary, so I think it'll work out well for him.
And then what do you think as far as with Carlson? The Ducks ended up giving a first round pick, which could be this summer or next summer, depending on the Ducks make the playoffs. They also gave up a third round pick. He didn't play in the first couple games after the trade deadline since we got him. He now finally played in this last game against Montreal. And then it kind of ties in, we'll go into it in a minute, but obviously Gudas is out now with the 5 game suspension. So that helps having Carlson in. But I guess what was your just initial thought? Like for me, I didn't really even think Carlson was available. I mean, when they announced the trade, you and I were both asleep and woke up the next day. Carlson was asleep too and got a phone call in the middle of the night, which was just kind of a whole crazy sequence of events. I remember waking up on Friday going, "Wait, we made a trade." And then I looked, nothing was posted. I'm like, "Oh crap, I was asleep. Eddie was asleep." I'm like, "Okay." But what did you think? Did you think we paid too much? Do you like it? I mean, he's a rental right now, unless we sign him again. Even though that's what Verbeek has said he wants to do, but he's also not going to do any of that kind of stuff till the off season. So it's kind of a lot going on there. Like, kind of what's your overall take about us, bringing in the other Carlson?
It was shocking. It was something that no one had on the radar, no analysts, no, just a drunk thought like, hey, let's just get this player. Didn't think that they were going to give up Carlson at all, especially they're in that kind of, they were in the cusp of kind of making the playoffs. They kind of dwindled off a little bit, but he spent his whole career there, and it was like a wow, like look what happened. Like these, I guess these GMs don't sleep, so I don't know too much coffee, or hopefully they're not doing the whole Jarrett Stoll diet, but. Um, Mike, it was surprising. It was like, okay, well, what the F is going on? I like the pick though. I like the trade. The Ducks are serious. They're bringing in a puck moving defenseman. He has the winning pedigree. He has a cup under his belt. He's played with a top talent like Ovechkin. I guess he's a player that knows how to win, and he knows how to get there. And the only sucky situation thing, but he had to get notified when he's sleeping. It's like you go to bed not thinking anything's gonna happen. Um, I guess too, I'll throw it out there before I forget. The whole controversy about it, I was reading, Mike, that the Ducks GM and the Capitals GM, both of them were saying that they contacted each other. So it's like, okay, well, so and so contacted me about Carlson. No, you contacted me about Carlson. It's like, okay, well, now it's like bickering going on, and we'll talk about it later on in the show because we had some issues too, Mike, with Buffalo and St. Louis that got leaked with the whole Parenko situation, but. I think this makes the Ducks better. I like the trade. Now, when you mention signing an extension, I absolutely hate when teams trade for a player and sign him to a big extension without giving that like, little sample size on what they can bring. I don't think we necessarily paid a lot to get him. If he works out with the Ducks, it's going to take him a while. He's been on one team for his whole career, and he's transitioning from one coach to another, totally opposite coaches. They're not the same style. So it's going to take some time for him to adjust. So if he adjusts as well, if he goes in the playoffs and tears it up, then yeah, go ahead and offer that extension. Hopefully he likes being in Anaheim and it works out. If not, then we didn't really give up that much. That first pick, regardless, we're going to make the playoffs. It's not going to be a top 10 pick anymore. I'm excited, Mike. And I said we are going to make the playoffs. I really think the Ducks are on that verge unless they go on a total collapse. I think they're on their way to make the playoffs. And I'm happy to see that. I'm glad to see that. Mike, you know what, too? I was talking to my brother. I haven't been to a Ducks playoff game since I left to the Army. You know how long ago that was? And I'll date myself right now. I remember when I first went to the Ducks playoff game, like the last playoff game I went to, it was against the Nashville Predators when Bobby Ryan scored that beautiful goal. Do you remember that, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the last playoff game I've ever attended. After that, shortly after that, I went to the Army and I was just bouncing around and I came back and the Ducks were just pretty much crap. And I didn't really get to. Oh, you know what? I lied. I went to one after that. Never mind. I kind of remember now. Sorry, I'm ranting on. I remember I went with my best friend that passed away. We went to one of the playoff games, a couple of them. So, but yeah, but I'm excited for the playoffs, Mike. I'm excited to go. And I told my brother about it. We're gonna go and hang out with you and Sin and cheer on the Ducks. And once they get into the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen. And I think Carlson would be one of those players that knows what it takes to kind of settle everything down and knows how to kind of calm the blue line down, especially with our younger players, and go and get what he wants. So I think it's going to be a good thing for the Ducks if he fits in and we have a good sample size of him and he really gels with the team. Then yeah, go ahead and sign him. Look what happened with Colorado last season when they signed Brock Nelson. He didn't play that well in the off season. He played mediocre in the playoffs, and now he's one of their top scorers. So you never know. It takes some players to adjust, but overall I like the trade. I just didn't like the fact that it was overnight and had to wake up to see that.
Yeah, I know that was kind of awkward. I woke up and I'm like, what the heck? I quickly had to jump on the computer and put together an article and everything. I was like, all right, here we go with the trade. And yeah, I mean, I want to see what's going to happen, what he's going to do. And Verbeek did talk about, like you said, hey, getting in the playoffs, we're in a good position. You look at all the websites that, do those probabilities and all that, and the Ducks are like somewhere in like 80 to 90% going to make the playoffs. So I don't think that will be an issue as far as getting in. And Verbeek also talked about that, the Ducks migration event about, hey, just, get in and see what happens. So, and that's where the team's at right now. The Ducks just went on this road trip. They split the road trip. They are in first place, at least at the time of us recording this show, and they've been bouncing back and forth between first and second. But I think they're, in a good spot. I mean, we we did have a lot of controversy on this road trip with stuff, and we'll dive into all of that. The Ducks they beat the Jets. They got behind, ended up coming back and beating them. And then you had the pair of losses to the Leafs and Ottawa with a lot of drama in those games, and then they beat Montreal. So they went 2-2. They're back at home. They're going to be playing the Flyers, and then Utah on the road, and then it's kind of all over the place for the rest of the season. But it's just kind of crazy. I guess the big part of this, and I mean, now that we do have Carlson and Gudas is out, it looked like the Ducks were going to win the game against the Leafs, and you had all these issues that happened in the second period where Gudas got called for the kneeing penalty, which was a 5-minute major. He was booted out of the game. Toronto then scored a couple goals, ended up going back and winning that game. You had Chris Kreider also taking kind of a dumb penalty in there, and the Ducks kind of lost their discipline and lost this game. And then the fallout kind of carried over to the next game against Ottawa, where they didn't even score and lost that one. But this was like the big story of the last week. So many of you had fan questions about Gudas. There was so much stuff on social media about, the hit, the penalty, what it should have been, the fallout. You had Steve Dangle's comments. I mean, there was just all kinds of stuff going on with this. So, I didn't like the play. I didn't like what happened with Gudis. I didn't like Matthews getting hurt and whatnot. But what did you think about this? I mean, obviously that was the turning point in the game. The Ducks, the first half of that game, they were winning. They had it. That penalty comes up. Toronto gets a couple goals on the power play. They turn the tide. They end up winning it 6-4. But what are your thoughts? I mean, there were so many opinions on the Gudis hit and then the suspension and whatnot. Like, however you want to take that, because there's a lot of parts to it. But what did you think about this whole thing?
Okay, so first of all, it was the wrong play, and I don't think that. Yeah, it was bad on Gudas's part. I wish Austin Matthews a speedy recovery, and I apologize he has to go through that, and it sucks. He's a superstar player, and it was really unfortunate. And I'm not defending Gudas one bit at all. He screwed up. His wires got crossed or something. I don't know what he was thinking, but it was a bad play. It was a really bad play, and I think he deserves the suspension he's gotten. And I probably think he should have gotten a little bit more. That's my opinion. But I I didn't go to Princeton, so I don't make those rules. George Peros does. Um, with that said, yeah, it was kind of an unfortunate situation, which you mentioned too. Toronto's been on a losing streak. I know they've been on a downward spiral, and the Ducks they could have won this game, but like you said, big thing you said, Mike, was discipline. What I'm more concerned about, not the whole Gudas thing, not Matthews' injury. I'm more concerned about Leafs fans bitching and crying about your little post, Mike, that you posted, and not taking responsibility for their team's action or lack of team's action. Your team has zero fucking heart. You have no backbone, no spine. Your captain and best player goes down, and you just look at him, look at Gudas, and do nothing. I don't give a damn how big Gudas is, how tough he is. Someone can always be beat up. It doesn't matter. You have to go and defend your teammate. It doesn't matter. It's just we've seen other teams Buffalo's been called out by this, by not defending a teammate, and all of a sudden, look what happened with Dalheen. He gets like a headlock, or he gets attacked. His whole team goes after him and kind of adjusted that. If I'm not Austin Matthews now, I'm pissed off. I'm mad at my team. I don't want to play there anymore. Your team doesn't respect you as a captain, as a player. Like even in beer league I play, I told you too offline, Mike. There's a team where they didn't come to my defense after a cheap shot, and I'm like, what the hell? You guys don't respect me enough to actually have my back. I'm done. I don't fucking play for you guys anymore. And this goes for any sport: basketball, football, baseball, softball, bat. I don't know if badminton, if they get physical in badminton, that'd be pretty cool to see. But yeah, I think that like, people were kind of mad at the wrong thing and taking their frustration out. And Leafs fans, they're real sensitive. We all know that. They're soft as cotton, or soft as baby shit, whatever's softer. I don't know. They're so wound up, and like, they're so wound up at nothing to do in life besides their team, and their team just underperforms. And it's sad to see that. Like sad to see what they have on the ice and the roster they have and what they could be, and they just always fail their team. It's just sad to see. So maybe they're taking it out on everyone else in the world. But that Steve Dangle comment, whatever, that was pathetic. He's a piece of shit. He's an idiot. He's a loser. He needs to go hit the treadmill for a little bit. It's a different thing. You're trying to say target a young guy's knee because you're mad. And before that too, you were bitching and crying about Austin Matthews because he went to the White House. It's like pick and choose your battles. You hate Matthews one week because he went to the White House after the gold medal, but now you're coming all like super ho defending him because he got taken out by a Ducks player. It's like, dude, you need some help. I don't know if you're bipolar, you need some medication, and I'm not hating on that if you do. I really hope you get help. I'll pray for you. But you got to pick and choose. What you said was wrong, and people trying to defend and come back, and they're mostly Leafs fans. I know Mike. I won't mention her name on Twitter or X now. I try to like call us out and call. I think they called Anaheim calling out too, and she was expecting the whole world to come on her side, and everyone just went back, and it backfired on her real quick. What I could say about Steve Dangle, at least he backpedaled enough to admit he was wrong, but it's like, dude, it's out there already. We talk about in the show ice justice a lot, and I believe in it. And the Kachuk brothers too, Mike. And you can dive deeper on the podcast you heard, but I believe in ice justice. If you go and hurt one of our players, you should go and be attacked back, but not injured. Go and fight. Drop the gloves. Lay a big hit. Ask to fight. And after you fight, that's it and done. You already did it. If Gudas is on the Ducks next season and they meet Toronto again, okay, drop the gloves, you fight, and that's it. It's squared away. I hope no one gets hurt. I mean, I hope no one gets injured. That's it. I don't know how this had to blow up into that. And that Steve Dangle guy, like I said, he's just a clown. He's an ass clown. So if you guys follow him, I apologize for you, but you can't just be hating your captain one week and then all of a sudden you're his captain save the next week. So I hope that breaks it all down on my rant, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on with that. As soon as I saw the Dangle comment, I was like, I'm just gonna post something like, about it. And I didn't really think much of it. It was like on what was it, Friday night or something. And then that post by like Saturday had like a 250,000 views and all kinds of people commenting. A lot of people, a lot of you, that follow us on Twitter were commenting about it, saying, hey, like, no, you don't go out there and say that. That was kind of the initial response. Then there was a wave of Toronto fans that came in after that, and were calling me all kinds of names or whatever. I don't care, whatever. You can call me whatever you want. Like you're a big tough guy in Toronto, cool, like whatever, And I won't mention those words. I was honestly just laughing because the sad part about all this is I actually agree with Toronto on most of the stuff. I don't like the play that Gudis did. I don't like that Austin Matthews got hurt. I also don't like the way that the suspension was handed out. I do think that it should have been an in-person hearing, which then would have mean there would have been the ability to give Gudis more than 5 games. So like I crack up because all this like stuff came at us and I mean the Twitter account was blowing up for like 3 or 4 days. I mean just constantly getting stuff. And I'm like, I agree with you guys. I just don't like the fact that your guy Steve is sitting there saying, "Hey, go up to Carlson in warm-ups and ask him, which knee is it?" I'm like, really, dude? And I do give him a little bit of credit. I don't know if he calmed down or had a beer or whatever he did, and then the next day he said he didn't mean that. So I mean, I'm glad he did it, but you already went out there and said that and whatnot. Regardless of the exact context, you
Yep.
still said, "Hey, well, if nothing matters, you go up to him in warm-ups and say this." I'm like, what are you even talking about, dude? Like Leo
And he
Carlson,
it backfired on him with not
yeah.
just our Ducks and Pucks fans, other fan bases were attacking him too for that comment, Mike.
Yeah, and that's why I think he ultimately went back on Saturday and was like, "All right, I need to take a step back and chill out." Like, yeah, dude, like the bigger issue here is what you talked about, Eddie, is the rest of Toronto's team didn't do anything. And when you listen to the
Yep.
interviews, some of them were like, "Well, I didn't see it." I'm like, "How did you not see it?" Some of you were throwing your arms up at the air, yelling at the ref, and
Yep.
da da da. And you didn't skate over to Gudas and tell him to F off. You didn't try to fight him. You didn't try to hit him. Nothing like that. I mean, that's what I was surprised when I was watching the game. The lack of reaction from the teammates of Toronto kind of threw me for a loop. I was really waiting for something because, it was a crappy play. It was a stupid hit and stuff. So that's just kind of the funny part of it is my whole thing on that is I agree with you, Toronto fans. If you're listening to the show, like I think what Gudis did was dumb.
Yep.
I don't like the way the suspension was handed out. I do really feel bad that Matthews is hurt. I don't like to see anybody get hurt, period. But if you're going to go on your platform and wish ill will and violence against people, like I have a problem with that. And I'm not going to sit there and be quiet. I'm going to say something. So whatever, and I didn't think it was going to blow up, but if you ever want a bunch of angry Canadian or Toronto fans blowing up your Twitter feed, there you have it. That's how it went down. I mean, that post went like bananas, which I really didn't expect it. I'm like, our account's nothing. Our account's a little dumb fan account. It's not a big deal, I didn't I didn't think, but apparently a lot of Toronto and Canadian fans know who Ducks and Pucks is now, apparently, Eddie. And I think we did get some more followers out of it, which was not my intent. I was just more pissed off than anything.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I guess we cemented our time in Toronto. It's crazy though. It's crazy how the tides have turned together. I went to Toronto just last year in what October, November, and I met a lot of good fans. Of course, everyone in Toronto that I talked to that liked hockey was a Toronto fan and pleasant conversations. So it's like the whole tide has turned. And I think some people just take hockey just too seriously. It's like it's just a game. Like, and we don't even play this game. We're just fans. All of us are, including all these big time analysts. They're fans of the game too. They're not players. But yeah, I think yeah, I think you're right. I think the reason why he backpedaled because he got so much backlash from not just Ducks
Mhm.
fans, but from fans in general. And I'm glad he did it, but I still think something's off with him, and I hope he gets help. Trust me, I'm getting help too. It's like you said, Mike. It's okay not to be okay,
Yep.
but to seriously wish that kind of nonsense on a kid. Basically, he's still a kid. Carlson's young. That's just unbelievable and that's stupid. I don't even think anyone in Toronto players were even thinking. Well, obviously they're not thinking about injuring anyone. They can't even come to the defense of their player. But yeah, that's just crazy. Yeah, so I know next season Gudas is gonna have to answer the bell for that, or who knows, wherever team he's playing on. But bad play from him, and we do agree with Toronto fans. Like that was a horrible play. It sucks for Matthews. Matthews is an awesome player. He helped Team USA win the gold medal. I'm half Mexican. Matthews is too, so I have that kind of tie to him. It's like oh, seeing him do that. So yeah, he's one of my players I watch. But yeah, we weren't against you guys. We were with you until that comment. And Mike, I'm glad you responded to that comment. I'm glad you did. I know you got a lot of blowback and stuff, but we have a lot of our fans that came to our defense. We have a lot of other fans that are fans of hockey that kind of understand the game and know that we and as hockey fans, we don't want anyone to get injured. We want that ice justice. So I'm glad that that was a kind of distinguish between that. So that was good to see. I guess the rally point with like different fans getting together and just having one thing. And I do feel bad for that one chick that did try to kind of call us out, and I think she called out Anaheim calling too. I
Yeah.
want to see, yeah, yeah, Anaheim calling. So I mean, for too little, just like I guess when I was reading some of the comments, like hockey shouldn't be in California, a little shithole Anaheim team. You called out two blogs or two podcasts and two X accounts, and you got shat on by the rest of the hockey world. So, hey, good luck and thanks for the free publicity from or for both pages. So, man,
Yeah, I mean, that's why I mean I know the other guy running that account replied and started going into it. I didn't even care, and I don't even reply. I'm like, I'll just live rent free because I was just laughing because she basically proved my point. She was talking about the Kachuk brothers, and the Kachuk brothers said what we said is, yeah, you
yep.
want to respond, you want to put a hit on that guy, or maybe you drop the gloves and you challenge him to a fight, and then it's done. That's exactly what we were talking about. You and I have talked about that on this podcast for years, that our position has never changed. We've never said go out and injure people. And it was just funny, like she was trying to post it like as a aha gotcha moment. And it's like, nah, you actually blew yourself up. So I don't know what's going on with you. You're in New York. I don't know if you're a Ranger fan, a Sabre fan, or a Leaf fan, but you're confused. And maybe next time, you should try to figure out what you're trying to aha get us with because you really didn't get us. You really just blew up in your face. But the
Oh,
other part,
exactly.
the other part of this too is that we had fan questions like we had L Great Dad on Instagram, should Gudas have gotten a harsher punishment? We said yes. You had B. Lowry 17. Do you guys agree with the recent hate towards Radko Gudas? I don't see it warranted. So there was also the other faction of our Duck fans that were like, Gudas shouldn't be captain. He shouldn't play, the rest of the season and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, y'all need to hit the bong or something. Like, calm down, dude. Like, no, just relax. Like, he's going to finish the season as captain. You're not going to strip him as being captain. Like, just stop. Please just stop at the nonsense. Now, the other questions, though, we had like R Willie 26 on Instagram was like, who's the next captain to be? He talked about Mac T, but there's issues with that, which we'll talk about. We had Brewski also asked too. So that to me is the real question is, okay, Gudas is done this season with his contract. Do you bring him back? Yes or no? I would say probably we lean towards no, Eddie and I do. But then who's going to be the next captain? So that's really what I look at the issue. You're not going to take it away from him with, 15 games left in the season. Calm down, people. Like, getting all nuts. Like, yes, what Gudis did, I don't agree. I think it was a dumb play, but I don't think there was malice behind it. Okay, so like, let's just kind of simmer down here a little bit on that. I don't agree with like the people going off about booting him out and all this other stuff. Again, I don't like the play. I do think he should have been suspended more, but I think after that you just kind of calm down, and I think we try to figure out who is going to be the captain next season. That's really the bigger question to me. I don't really have the answer for that, Eddie, because I don't know if he's coming back next season. I don't know what the team makeup's going to be, but for me, I would lean towards not bringing him back, and bringing back Carlson, and then kind of figuring it out from there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why it's like half the Ducks fans, and I think the whole thing of it is a lot of these newer fans that come in, and they're so I guess they view hockey in the world differently. Like hockey's a physical sport, and a lot of people probably don't play any physical sports at all. So it's like, okay, you see this play, you judge this guy from a second decision. Like we can all make mistakes. I think every one of us, you listening to the show, everyone in this world, except that dictator Kim Jong Un in North Korea, because apparently he can never make any mistakes in the world. But I think everyone makes mistakes. He got his wires crossed, and he made a dumb bonehead move. Yes, people mention that he makes those moves a lot in his career. He's a physical player. That's his role. And I think he did a good job, and he is doing a good job as captain of the Ducks. He made a mistake. That's it. Let's get him his suspension. Let's see how he overcomes that, and let's see what he does and helps the Ducks in a playoff run. I bet if he scores what the game-winning goal to win a series, Ducks fans are gonna all of a sudden forget about this and oh my God, Goodis is the best captain in the world. That's why it gets me annoyed with a lot of Ducks fans because they can just go one way or the other. It's like a 180 all the time. It's like that's what's more embarrassing to other fan bases too when I look at the Ducks. Like 1 minute they're like they love the Ducks when they're on a winning streak, they passionate about the Ducks. They're hanging in posters. Ducks go on a 2, 3 game losing streak. It's a 180. I hate the Ducks. Ducks are worthless, ripping their posters down. It's like, dude, come on. Stick with your team. Stick with your captain. He's the captain of the Ducks. He's not gonna be stripped. And I besides the bonehead move he did, I think he's doing a good job, and he keeps he keeps the team accountable for their actions too. Obviously, he made that bonehead move, but yeah, people just need to relax. Like just you can't just you can't jump in emotion too, which you can. You're fans. You can do what the hell you want. I mean, you guys watch the sport, but I think it's just kind of jumping to a too quick of a conclusion and kind of judging someone based on a few second decision that you have to make in that moment. And like, if you never played sports, it goes to like driving too. Like, you ever threw your middle finger out at someone accidentally, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that, honk at someone too soon. It goes with life stuff too. Things are gonna happen. Like, get over it. He knows what he did wrong. He's taking his suspension. I believe he could have. I'm not sure if he could have contested it. I don't think he would have. I think he's probably happy that he just got the 5 games, but it's gonna be okay. If he comes back to you know what? If he comes back on a contract, I might not be that opposed to it, depending on where he is. But like, as a seventh defenseman, especially with the depth we have in bringing in Carlson, if Carlson resigns, defenseman Carlson resigns, yeah. But yeah, people just need to kind of relax and not just jump to, I guess, to a conclusion and judge someone based on a few seconds of a bad decision.
Yeah, it's like the movie Bad Boys, right? Woo-saw, Just take a little breath, massage your ears. It's all good. Woo-saw. Like I'm with you. Just like Eddie said, it was dumb, but let's calm down on stripping the captain, bench him the rest of the season. Slow your roll. Just stop. Just stop that narrative. That narrative is not going anywhere. It's not warranted. Yes, he should have been suspended more games. Yes, it was a dumb play. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to do the advertisement. Our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's built for the fastest game on ice. When with player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, you bet $5, and if your bet wins, you get 300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sports app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into 300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPNY or text HOPNY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets. Expires in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time only. All right.
Wait, they're giving you like $300 now? What the heck? How do I get on? Damn it! How about for existing customers? Man, that's actually pretty good. I'll be in, you know what? I'll be in Arizona this weekend to see my mom. Well,
Nice.
my brother to see my mom, so I'm gonna get some DraftKings action in. But I would like that $300 too if I can make a bet. But man, that's a
Nice.
good promotion.
All right, so we got a couple other parts on the second half of the show to discuss. We've got well, the Ducks lost to Ottawa. They deserve to lose, but there was all kinds of issues going on there um, with the goalie interference and stuff. And the big issue with that was there actually was two goalie interference plays in this, where one went the Ducks' way, one didn't go the Ducks' way. Uh, and it was really the first one, the one with Husso in there with Stutzel, and there was a lot going on there. The call on the ice was goal. The Ducks challenged it, and then they, said it was still upheld. So there's a lot going on. I guess the big part of this, I did talk about this in the recap and posted the rule and talked about it, NHL Rule 69. We also had Jesse Granger talk about it on The Athletic. He reposted the video replay I did of it. but it's not as simple as some people say it is. They try to break it down as like, hey, the player's in the crease or he's not in the crease with incidental contact, and that's the rule, but that's not really the rule. It actually talks about in the beginning, it says, quote, that this rule is based on the premise that an attacking player's position, whether inside or outside the crease, should not by itself determine whether a goal should be allowed or disallowed. So right off in the bat, they tell you that. Then they break it down to the two parts. They say, in other words, goals scored while attacking players are standing in the crease may, in appropriate circumstances, be allowed. Goals should be disallowed only if one, the attacking player, either by his positioning or by contact, impairs the goalie's ability to move freely within the crease or defend his goal. Or number two, and again, it's an or rule, so you only got to meet one of these. Or number two, an attacking player initiates initial or deliberate contact with a goalkeeper inside or outside of his crease. And then it does explain incidental contact with a goaltender may be permitted and the resulting goal allowed when such contact is outside of the crease, providing the attacking player had reasonable effort to avoid such contact. So I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but when you look at this play, Eddie, and you really try to break it down, you have a skate-to-skate contact. I know some people said it was in the crease. To me, it really wasn't. It looked like he hit the leg pad outside the crease, maybe even at the red line. It's still not in the crease to me. Also, the stick and the glove is outside. So I understand when people are talking about second part of the rule, saying, hey, incidental contact outside the crease, I'm good with it. But then the first part of the rule talks about the ability to defend the goal. And that's where I have issue with this, Eddie, is that the goalie loses his footing, Husso his right foot, and the glove gets hit by the stick. So to me, it's goalie interference, no goal. I don't really think it's that debatable, to be honest. I think this is pretty straightforward based upon the first half of the rule. And remember, it's an or rule, it's not and. You don't have to meet both. So, but what did you think? Like, I know you've played, your beer league stuff and you've played goalie. Like, what did you think about this situation? Because this thing kind of blew up too. I remember posting some of the stuff on this on Twitter, and then it went nuts as well. Most people saying that it was goaltender interference, and then there was a small handful saying that it wasn't.
Yeah, well, beer league's different. You touch the goalie, they're gonna just call it no goal. It's the rules are a little more. I guess they're weird. They're weird. Um, my whole complaint with this whole goalie interference thing, it's really ambiguous. You can go and watch every game that's played and had a goalie interference call, and it's always different. You could probably see something similar in other games what the Ducks had, and it was called no goal, but the Ducks called a goal. It's just it, the officiating is horrible. The situation room's horrible. Um, it's not getting better. And the whole goalie interference situation, that and the offside calling, that's been an issue for the last the offside 2 seasons. The goalie interference has been forever. There's no kind of set in stone criteria for that. It's just whatever the ref feels that day, whatever the situation room feels that day. It's just crazy how it works out that way. I think it should have been no goal. That's my opinion. You touch the goalie, however slightly you touch him, you force his movement, especially on ice. Just that little tap, those few inches, a little bit to the left or right, that can cause a goal. It doesn't matter if your glove was outside or inside the crease, or there was no interference with the glove or whatever, not whatnot. That little subtle touch can really change the direction, especially when you're moving that fast on ice, on a goalie's way to react to a shot. Especially his goalies are really what's the word I'm looking for? Their reaction time. So they feel something else on the right side, their brain's automatically going to go, okay, what's going on the right side? It's going to take away that split second to the left side, and boom, a goal gets scored. It shouldn't have been a goal, but I think Ducks fans are used to it. We don't get calls go our way. It's rare. It's a really rarity that it was going to go. I'm not surprised that that call happened, but I think it's bullshit. I think the league needs to have more accountability and more structured way of how they handle it. It should be one standard, one rule for every single team that plays. You shouldn't tune into a Ducks game and then see that goal overturned, but watch a Bruins or Calgary game and see that same goal get allowed or vice versa. It's just crazy how the league lets this go time and time again, and it's nuts how ambiguous. You can just kind of dictate the whole rules. I don't know, maybe Toronto has some bets over there on the Situation Room had some bets on DraftKings. Maybe the referees had some bets on DraftKings too, and they just didn't want to call it a goal. I mean, shit, things can happen. Stranger things have happened, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean the other part of this rule too is, I don't like when people don't post the rule. Like, I try to either post it in an actual post on social media, or, for the newer people in my game recaps, I usually do put the rule in there and talk about it, and I did in this one to talk, in more detail. But, read the whole rule. You don't have to be an attorney or anything crazy like that. You just got to really read it and piece through it. But if you even continue reading through the rule, the third paragraph in it says, quote, the overriding rationale of this rule is that a goalkeeper should have the ability to move freely within his goal crease without being hindered by the actions of an attacking player. If an attacking player enters the goal crease and by his actions impairs the goaltender's ability to defend his goal and the goal is scored, the goal should be disallowed. And that's exactly what happened. You saw Stutzel, he did go in the crease. Okay, the initial contact wasn't there, but he did go in there and push his foot. So, I mean, that's the overriding rule, which I was kind of baffled because then the league put out their little video or their little they actually didn't put out the video. They put out a little statement just saying, "Well, he didn't impair his ability." And I'm like, no, he impaired his ability. I mean, it's pretty clear. So the rule talks about it. It's in there. I posted this a couple times on Twitter before in the past, and I posted in articles before, but and there was one person that actually did post the rule in response to Jesse's comment, and I replied, which he didn't reply, but I actually responded to him because I was tagged in it too, and I said, well, it's a two-part rule, and you only got to meet one of the two parts. So you met the first part, so the goal should be disallowed because it impaired the goalie's ability to defend the goal. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is pretty straightforward to me. There's actually two contacts there that happen. There's the skate and the glove on the stick. So to me, I don't really see this as that really confusing. But, it's important to read the rules, dissect it, look at it. Like I said, sometimes a social media post can't do it. You can only put so many characters. So I like to put it in the articles, especially in the recaps. So yeah, I wasn't happy with the call. They did get the one right later on, but the overriding thing in this is that the Ducks didn't play well in this game. They had all the craziness that happened in Toronto with the Gudas thing. Like we said, they played well the first half. They fell apart the second half. Then you came out and they were fortunate to lose 2-0 to Ottawa. In my opinion, Ottawa was all over the Ducks. The Ducks did not play well in that game. So, overriding, yes, they should have still lost the game anyways. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to dive into the rules, I don't know. Maybe maybe actually dive into the rules. Don't just try to simplify them and say, well, it depends on what the player's standing, because that's not how goalie interference works. So I know it's frustrating. A lot of people are like, well, what does it mean? Da 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 da. The rule's there, and that's why when I look at it and I post something, like I'm going by this rule. Like I said, and I elaborated it in the article. You can go back and read it if you missed it. I know when the Ducks lose, people don't like to read as much as opposed to when they win. I know more people read. I do track that, so it's kind of funny how that works. But that's the rule. So, and if you need to double check it, Rule 69, all the rules are there on the NHL. You can go read them and dive into them before you try to argue one way or another or oversimplify it. But yeah, the bigger issue here is the Ducks did not play well in this game. They didn't score. Sadly, I had Allmark on my fantasy team, so that did help me. But I rather the Ducks have won in
That's
this.
why the Ducks lost. You were like praying to the hockey gods, Mike, just for your damn fantasy team. We're not even in playoffs yet, Mike, so calm down.
I know. I was watching that game and I forgot who I was playing, but they had a goalie with a shutout, and I'm like, oh man, if Allmark is a shutout, I don't want a shutout. I'm like, no, I want him to score, I want him to win, and then he gets a shutout. I'm like, okay. I was talking about
You're
that in our.
celebrating, and you're
I know.
celebrating.
I know, talking that in the group chat. I'm like, yeah, it's goaltender interference. No, just kidding, it's not. Yeah. So yeah, but that's the rule. I mean, I like the rule 100%. I do think it should be cleaned up. We've seen Verbeek talk about that. Other people have talked about it. I think there's other leagues where it's different. Like Eddie's talked about, like, in beer league, you touch the goalie, like forget it, it's no goal. I'm not saying that we necessarily go to that, but I mean, this could be cleaned up a little bit because this leads you down to the road of okay, well, you're in the crease, you're out of the crease, which I get, and some people see that and want to oversimplify it, but that's not really the rule. There's more to it, but a lot of people want to go that route. So I think if they did something that was more like, hey, you interfere with the goalie, period, right? Then that's it. You're done. Like I don't know. They could straighten it out a little bit more, but I do hate that because everybody bitches about it. And I think the biggest part, Eddie, you hit on it too. Regardless what the definition is of it, just apply it evenly. I think if you apply it evenly,
Yep.
then no one would really have an issue.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mike. And you hit every nail in the coffin that you can possibly hit. I agree with you. Just want consistency. If you're gonna make bullshit calls and make bullshit calls for every team in the league, it shouldn't have to go one way or the other. Like I don't know. That's what gets frustrating. I think I want to say 95% of the fans get pissed off about the officiating because it's not consistent. Like we just want consistency. Is it that hard to get one standard and abide by it? But who knows? What do we do? We're just ducks and pucks, right? Like, um,
Yep.
I want to throw out there too, real quick, and backtrack to the Gudas thing. Toronto does play the Ducks coming up March 30th. So yeah, and he'll get I guess a chance to drop the gloves if needed. But yeah, I thought they were done for the season, but no, they do play Toronto on the 30th.
Yes, and I do plan to be at that game. So that will be a wild one to check out as
You
well. And you're
know,
right, they
I
got
might
one more.
I might have to be at that game too, Mike. So
Well, we can talk afterwards
yeah.
because I was going to hit you up about some games anyways.
Yeah,
Uh,
same here. I'm
but
feeling
yeah,
better now. I had my stress test. I have my heart monitor on, which is kind of weird. I feel like Iron Man or something. This thing put to my chest, but yeah,
I was just gonna
ultimately, I think I'm gonna do well.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, do you feel like Iron Man?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I should like try to jump off the building and fly, but I'm not gonna do that. But
All right, well then the other part, again, another game and kind of a little bit more drama, but the Ducks they played Montreal, they ended up winning, they pulled out last minute. You saw Troy Terry come back, which was great, a goal and two assists. He's on fire. Well, sight for sore eyes, glad to have him back. John Carlson makes his debut. He doesn't get any points, but he does help on one play where the other Carlson scores, but there were a couple passes in there, so John didn't get a point on that play, but you could see the improvement there. But now the big story is what are we doing with Mason McTavish? Here's the issue: Mason McTavish. Do you play him at center? Do you play him at wing? We've seen that he gets healthy scratched. Uh, Coach Q talks about it, kind of sending a message. So, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, McTavish has been in such a drought trying to score, and then he gets the Strome slash Vetrano treatment here and doesn't play in a game, Eddie. Like, what do you think?
yeah, that's crazy. The whole downfall. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he has a future with the Ducks anymore. Like I know it's only one healthy scratch, but it's just like he's been kind of off this whole season. Like we've seen those flashes of greatness from him. We know what kind of player he can become and he can be. He just kind of seems to be walking in a different direction on a forward moving treadmill. I don't know what's going on. I hope he figures it out soon. I hope whatever's going on, if it's personal, if he's injured or hurt, get it taken care of. I have no idea. I know it's hard, brand new coach and everything, and kind of started off not, I guess, I want to say not on the wrong foot. 'Cause I don't want to say that when they're negotiating contracts, he wants to get the best deal he could possibly get, but that was surprising. It's kind of crazy how he got that health bomb, but I hope whatever it is, he figures it out, especially come tomorrow when the Ducks play. They welcome back Zegras too when Philly comes into town. But yeah, that was kind of like, well, what the F moment, Mike.
Yeah, I was surprised too, and they ended up scratching him. I was like, okay, because I mean, we said, we'd seen it with Strome, we'd seen it with Vetrano, and now McTavish. So. Maybe he gets back into it and gets a wake up call because yeah, he's been in a drought. He hasn't scored. I haven't looked at the stats, but I know it's been a minute. It's been like at least 10 games or so where he hasn't gotten a goal. So I'd like to see him get back up in there and maybe you do rotate him around. Maybe you switch him up in the lineup. You switch up, where he's playing. But yeah, it was interesting to see him out. I know he made some comments about being a healthy scratch and like what the heck, like I'm not used to this and. maybe it's a little thing that'll get him kind of going and get him back on track. But I mean, right now you look at this team. I mean, they're all besides him. I mean, they're looking good. You've got Cutter with over 30 goals. You got Seneca with 20. Everybody's doing well. I've talked about this before that it's looking positive. You mentioned it earlier in your show that they're playoff bound. To me, it's really a question of how far they can go. You're looking, there's the news that Draisaitl's now out for Edmonton, so that's a blow for them. Again, don't like to see players get hurt, but that's going to kind of hinder their playoff chances. You got the Kings trying to battle it out. You got San Jose's coming on strong. You got Seattle in the mix, but I like the Ducks' chances. I really like what they're doing. I think if they end up in first or even second, or heck third, I think they can beat anybody in the Pacific Division. I'm not going to say hands down sweep, it'll be easy, but Verbeek talked about this, or Coach Q, or both of them. I can't remember one of them or both of them talked about the Ducks migration event that they weren't going to be an easy out in the playoffs, and that's what I see with this team. They're not going to be easy out. I
Oh no.
really think that they can win in the first round and probably the second round. Now, after that. I think your boys in Colorado, though, are to me are the team to beat in the Western Conference. Colorado, the Ducks had played them earlier and got smoked coming out of the Olympic break, and I just I don't see Colorado slowing down. So I do have high hopes for the Ducks. I do think that they can make some noise in the playoffs. But if they run into Colorado, man, that to me, Eddie, is where I think that they'll get stopped. But if the Ducks and the Avs meet in the Western Conference Final, that would be to me a huge victory for Ducks fans for this season, considering what we thought would happen in the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great. And to go back on McTavish, the last goal he scored was against the Rangers on January 19th. He scored again on the 17th, a back-to-back goals. I think the last 14 games he has 4 points. He
Jesus.
went on a what 6 game pointless streak. So yeah, it's kind of a rough ride for him. But sometimes you kind of need that. You kind of need to snap back into, kind of get a little timeout, get back into reality, and change your game around. We've seen lots of players kind of face that same thing. They get scratched, and I guess your character determines how you react when you kind of get to that adversity. You get kind of your lowest point. I mean, your lowest point's getting way, but getting scratched is just as bad, like a healthy bomb. But yeah, I'm sure he'll figure it out. He's a talented hockey player. He brings a lot to the organization, and we all know what he can do for this team. So I think he'll figure it out. And as far as that question too, Mike, I don't think we answered the whole captain question. We can get to that too if you want
Sure.
to dive into that. Just if you had to pick a captain for next season, it's not Gudas. Who would you pick?
Yeah, to me that's a really good question. And I think we've talked about you and I have already talked about Gudas being a transitionary captain. We said that he wasn't going to be the captain long term, and I don't see that. I don't see him even if the Ducks by some chance do bring him back next season. I really don't know that he would be the guy to be captain again. I think that they would change it up and pick someone else. We had that one other fan question about McTavish. We mentioned, his name had been up there. Terry's another one that I look at in the mix. A little bit more, maybe quiet guy, but one that I would look to. I still think that they would lean towards someone that's on the younger side on the team, maybe. I mean, which Terry's kind of now been on there longer than some of the other guys, right? So it's been a little crazy, but that's what I look at because I mean the blue line. It's kind of young. Yes, you got also Truba on there. You now got Carlson on there. I don't see those guys being captain. So to me, I kind of lean towards Terry right now is who I'm looking at. What are you thinking?
I'll go older. I'll go
Okay.
Kreider. I
Oh
know
yeah,
Kreider's. I'm not sure how long of a season or years he's gonna have. Like after this year, he was one more in his UFA. But I kind of lead with more experience, someone that can kind of settle things down. I think he probably would have made a good captain in New York. Um, Granlund, captain team Finland, someone like that too. Maybe not more Granlund. I think I'm leaning more toward because he was captain of Finland, but it wouldn't be my choice. But I want to say Kreider would be a good one. Um, Seneca, why not? I'm just kidding. No, not him. He's too young, and I would not want to disrupt his development. Wow, he's been unbelievable for the Ducks. He's in the running for the Calder, so that's kind of cool. I mean, if I had to pick right now, I'd pick Kreider. Like why not give those transitionary captains and let our players develop and not have that overall pressure. Yeah, Terry would be a good one too, but you want to just throw that C and make the overall pressures. In New York, I know Kreider knows what it takes to be that kind of that captain, seeing other players that he kind of he kind of played with in a bigger market. So I don't know. I'd pick Kreider. I wouldn't pick this whole just run three alternate captains at home, different alternate captains away. No, you. I hate when the league does this. Like you have to name a captain, you have to have a leader. When the Ducks didn't name captain to Getzlaf, understandable. Getzlaf is probably one of the, if not the best captain in Ducks history. But yeah, we have to name someone if it's not going to be Gudas. If Gudas comes back, then I would say keep the C on him and just let these players develop in their own way. This is the first time in God knows how long we've been in the playoffs. So just let them sink, take all this in, and not have that added pressure of the sea. I mean, the sea, especially, well, it's not really that big of a deal in Anaheim. It's not that big of a market. It's not like you're in Toronto or Calgary or one of those big market teams where it's like all hell breaks loose on you. But as a captain, you're taking all that responsibility. And I wouldn't want to see a young guy kind of yield or hinder his development on getting that C2 prematurely.
No, yeah, I agree, and I like I mentioned Terry, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to Kreider either. I think that the team is young and has a lot of young players, so you don't want to add that pressure like you talked about. So I am curious. I mean, we're kind of thinking ahead, but if you don't bring Gudas back next season, it's something that the Ducks and Coach Q and Verbeek are definitely going to have to figure out in the off season. To kind of just round up the rest of the show, I mean, we had the Olympics, you had the trifecta for the men, women, and Paralympics. USA beating Canada in all three of these is very, very crazy. Very good to see. So you had that. Very, very exciting. I remember being plastered watching the men's game early in the morning on that Sunday. I I get up at like 4:30 for work anyway, so like I didn't care. I know a lot of people were upset about the early game, and I get it, Sunday and whatever. I really don't care because I get up early and I go to bed early. So I was all in and I was already plastered. So I was happy when the men won, and then I actually just watched the Paralympic one too, which obviously wasn't as much drama as the men and the women because the men and the women both won 2-1 overtime. In the Paralympics, we pulled away late, and those guys have been like winning gold every time, been amazing. So um, it's just great. I really liked it. It was exciting, especially the men. They won on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. I mean, you couldn't have written a better story for that one, Eddie.
Oh yeah, that was same here, Mike. I think I woke up drunk, so it's like I just continued it, but it was a good game. The only thing I didn't like, and I mentioned this on social media, I'll start off with negative. How many people just started fighting amongst each other and country versus country, Canadian fans just bitching and crying about it. It's like it's a game. It happens. It could have went either way. Like Team Canada could have won 2-1. It just the game was so good, and they kind of tarnished hockey by bringing politics into it, about bitching and crying about it. It's like shut the fuck up and enjoy the game. Like the first time the our athletes were in the Olympics since what 2010 or something like that, and you had to ruin it and tarnish it with your negativity. Like that's not what hockey's all about, and that's why I don't like a lot of these new hockey fans because they don't get it. They're bringing in the world politics that they want into the hockey world. It's not right. I wish those fans would just go away and go watch or start their own league somewhere because they're ruining the sport. It was a beautiful moment for the sport of hockey. It was a good game. USA hasn't won gold since that 1980 team. So it was a special moment. I liked it. I got drunk. I used an excuse to get more drunk, but it was great. The women played phenomenal. It was a good game too, and I thought the women were going to spank Canada come that gold medal game, and no, it was close too. I was just kind of like, oh man, kind of nervous for them, but they played well. Paralympic team played well too. I didn't, fortunately, I didn't get to watch that one. But yeah, go USA. And like I said, this could have went either way, and Canada played a great game. Respect to Canada for that. And I don't know, Mike. I guess the biggest issue I have right now is how the hell is the NHL going to bring the All-Star game back after coming through the Four Nations, the Olympics, and then you're going to have an All-Star game, then you're going to go to the World Cup of Hockey. Like the All-Star game should be just scrapped or make it optional. Like you bring in players. If a player A doesn't want to go, just go down the list, whoever wants to be there. Because the All-Star game was always been crap. It's been getting worse, and there's no way you're going to bring the All-Star game back and expect fans to actually want to actually watch it unless you bring Michael Bublé back on mushrooms or Cuba Gooding Jr. when he's shit-faced again. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to watch the All-Star game. But you go Four Nations, the U.S. Olympics, and it was a great game. And yeah, I was excited. Go Team USA, loved it. I loved the fact that the Kachuk brothers were being the Kachuk brothers. I love the comment. I think Matthew Kachuk told Draisaitl, "Hey, you're always the bride and never the no, you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride." Oh my God, that was the funniest comment in the world. And people, oh, he was public enemy number one. And you know what? The whole controversy too on that Gudas play when he injured Crosby. Crosby came out defending him, saying it was a hockey play, and people were acting like Gudas went and intentionally tried to hurt Crosby or injure Crosby. That wasn't the case, but yeah, I think the Olympics did a good job with hockey, and I hope to see our athletes again in the future. On the flip side, though, I'm saying this, Mike, because I'm not the Kings losing, or I'm using Fiala. I'm not other players that lost their team, like vital teammates. So maybe if the Ducks would have lost someone like really crucial to their development, like if Carlson played and he got injured, I would have been pissed. Um, I want to say the best player on Team USA, Mike. He didn't get a minus or anything, but Jackson Lacombe. I think he played well for Team USA. He's gold, baby. He's gold.
Yeah,
He
it
didn't make
was.
it. Jackson Lacombe made zero mistakes playing for Team USA. That's freaking balls right there.
Well, it was funny too because they brought him out at the Ducks migration event and they asked him, what he thought about winning gold and all that, and he made the funny comment about, well, I had the same view as all of you watching the games at home, so it was pretty funny. Everybody was laughing about that, but yeah, he didn't make any mistakes. Um,
No, but you know what, Mike? What helps too is he was there at the practices. He was seeing and learning like hockey players do. They learn amongst each other, and he was there, and he knows. I guess that all-star team and what it takes, and he can bring that stuff and add it to his toolbox and gear his game up and be a better defender. I think he'll be better. I think he's been playing a lot better too, um, since the Olympics. I think he has more step to his game, and I think rightfully he deserves that gold medal just like anyone else. Even though he didn't play a single game, I think he was there for practices. He was there for the gym workouts. He was there with his team, and I think it was good for him. And I think next Olympics he'll play a more crucial role in them, winning gold again.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, I mean, he's still there doing all the stuff like you said. So, absolutely. I mean, he deserves to get the gold. I just thought it was funny his sense of humor at that event. So that was good. But yeah, and he learned about it. And I'm with you. I don't know what they do with this All-Star game because you have the World Cup of Hockey coming up. You're gonna have these games, and and they're talking about Calgary and Edmonton and whatnot. Russia's supposed to be in it. I guess that's now a controversy because again, all the whatever political stuff. I don't know. I try to stay out of that stuff, but that's coming up. It's something to look forward to in 2028. So yeah, I don't know where you go with the All-Star game. I don't know what they do in 2027. Maybe you just don't even have an All-Star game. I don't know. They're gonna have to figure that out. The other little thing too is there was this debate about the playoffs too. Eddie saw people arguing about the format going back to 1 to 8. Kind of, what do you think about that? Like, because I'm not really a fan of this current playoff situation. What do you think? You think they should try to go back to 1 to 8 or try to modify whatever we got right now?
Yeah, this whole I get that they're trying to do this whole division rivalry kind of crap, but no, go back to 1 versus 8. Like if you get that first overall spot, or if you, I don't know, it just doesn't seem fair that 2 and 3 are going to play each other in their whole divisions. It's a dumb move, and the league keeps making these dumbass plays to try to bring fan engagement and kind of stuff like that. It doesn't bring any more rivalry. Have you noticed Edmonton and LA playing differently when they play each other in the regular season, even though LA's been knocked off, what, 2 or 3 times already in the postseason? No, you don't really notice that. Just let it organically play. 1 versus 8. Leave it at that. Like, it was perfect. Yeah, you have Cinderella stories where the 8 seed will beat the number 1 seed and go on, and that's how it goes. It's just I think it's stupid. This experiment should be done with. Just go back to 1 versus 8. You know what? Go back next season. You're planning to bring the All-Star game back next season. People are gonna be pissed off about that. Why don't you give them a surprise and go 1v8 next season? And after that, if it doesn't work out, then when we had the World Cup of Hockey that following season, go back to the whatever you're doing right now. So I don't know. It's just kind of boring seeing the same teams play. Pretty much the same teams are going to play. But the 1v8 would, I don't know. I think it'd be beneficial to hockey in general.
Yeah, I think 1 versus 8's better. You just take the two division winners as 1 and 2, and then fan it out after that. And I think it's more exciting, like you said. You see those sometimes those 8 seeds get upset, and there's more. I don't know. There's more benefit to being higher up in the conference, right? I mean, it makes those games against the other division also important too, and not just the ones in your own division. But
Yep.
yeah, it's just kind of a little thing to look at. Did you have any more on that, Eddie?
No,
No.
that's pretty much it on
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. It just we'll kind of see what happens with the Ducks and, just kind of wrap up the show here. Any final thoughts before we close out, Eddie?
No, I just want to thank all our fans for the patience. I apologize again that I let my emotions get to me and stuff like that. The funeral took a lot out of me, and I missed my best friend, and I just want to give a shout out to Lauren. And we had a beautiful service for her and her family. It was hard to speak, but I had the courage to do it. So that took a lot out of me. But thank you guys for your patience, and I really appreciate you guys keep following the show and keep supporting Mike and I and Ducks and Pucks. That sounds like a candy bar, Mike and I, but yeah, thank you guys, and I'll be back more consistently unless something drastic happens. Um, uh, but I doubt that. Yeah, but yeah, I just want to thank everybody, and I'm nervous even thanking you guys right now. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all support. I'm looking forward to ending the season strong. Looking forward to talking some Ducks playoff hockey. Looking to go into some games with Mike and seeing you guys all soon. So thank you guys for the support and appreciate your patience.
Absolutely. Definitely. We'll be back. We'll figure it out. We'll probably at least have another show before the playoffs, and then yeah, we'll do whenever the playoffs come. We'll do like some series previews or something like that. We'll kind of figure it out. We appreciate everyone's support. All of you guys defending us against the Canadian fans on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that. I don't know. That thing blew up for like 3 4 days. But that was hilarious. And yeah, glad Eddie's back. Obviously things happen in life and you got to deal with stuff, but it's always good to overcome them. So, but yeah, with that, thank everybody for support and let's go Ducks.